You kidding me?
Good luck.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're updating our picks for the best games the PlayStation 5 has to offer. However, we're prioritizing exclusives over cross-platform releases.
But after this, I owe you nothing.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Demon's Souls. From Software fans had it good on PS5 launch day. Demon's Souls, which was originally released as a PS3 exclusive in 2009, received an incredible remake for the new generation. The game's first evolution was already remarkable since it led to the studio's Souls-like boom, but developer Bluepoint, already proven with some of the best remakes and remasters around, did everything right. With revamped graphics and controls, as well as other quality-of-life improvements and just enough new additions, it instantly became the best way to play. And while several improvements made things more manageable, it was still a ridiculously hard time, keeping with From Software's legacy. The Last of Us Part 1.
Hey, what are you... Joel?
Bill!
What are you doing?
Bill!
Let me go.
Turn around and get on your knees.
While some would argue the necessity of this next remake, there's no denying it's also the best way to play it. It being one of the most stunning video game narratives to ever exist. If you've played the remastered version on PS4, you'll find little different here in terms of gameplay, other than some minor changes. However, Naughty Dog once again showed their unbelievable prowess in video game visuals.
You, Bill?
Where do you usually meet him?
From the horrifying infected ripping at us from the shadows to the dangerous cities wondrously retaken by nature, it was hard not to stop and stare at it and wonder. That's not to mention the expanded accessibility options, which just let even more players experience this fantastic game.
What'd I say?
I'm just fixing your stupid pile.
Don't touch.
Returnal.
Checking identification on helmet. It's...
By taking the roguelike structure and applying it to a brutal third-person shooter, House Marquee delivered an exhilarating game in Returnal. As astronaut Celine Vassos, players became trapped in a loop, with the only way out to blast your way through the constant barrage of nightmarish hell creatures. The DualSense's haptic triggers were used fantastically with Celine's weaponry, shaking with ferocity in every encounter. More ferocious than that was the game's difficulty, which it quickly gained a reputation for. Those who endured death after many death found an extremely rewarding experience. That turned out to be a lot of players, as Returnal's success led to Sony purchasing House Marquee 2 months after release. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. One of the last big PS4 exclusives before the PS5's launch, Ghost of Tsushima was honed and refined for a next-gen director's cut the following year. The 4K resolution made Tsushima Island an even more breathtaking world, making it easy to get wonderfully lost in even the most mundane of activities. And the DualSense enhanced the already thrilling combat. Jin's strive to rid his home of the Mongols was also a captivating narrative, and the enhancements that came with the PS5 made it more than worth revisiting. Especially with the bundled-in Iki Island DLC, which gave players an engaging new villain, as well as some new armor sets that called back to previous Sony exclusives. Astros Playroom. If you're looking for a game that can cause nothing but pure delight, you're in luck. because every PlayStation 5 already comes with one. Astros Playroom takes the adorable little bot that became a star on PSVR and takes him through a charming rendition of Sony's greatest hits. Across a few worlds, Astros platforming gameplay wonderfully showcases the various features of the PS5's shiny new controller. While it's fun to explore the worlds, it's even more fun seeing the PlayStation's legacy celebrated all around you. From popular franchises like God of War and Uncharted, to lesser-known titles like Viv Ribbon and Siren. There are so many things jam-packed into this game to keep you smiling. Horizon Forbidden West.
If it isn't Aloy, the savior of Meridian, anointed of the Nora.
You know I hate being called that stuff.
Horizon got a strong start on the PS4. And while Aloy's next chapter was a cross-gen launch, the PS5 version is clearly the best way to experience it. With a plague spreading into her home, Aloy's second adventure takes her to the West Coast, where she must deal with warring tribes, even deadlier machines, and a powerful group of humans known as Far Zenith. Guerrilla made every necessary improvement to make the sequel stronger, like some nice additions to combat and traversal. It's also gorgeous to look at thanks to more detailed environments and enemies. If the machines weren't trying to rip us to shreds, we'd stare in awe at all their moving parts. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac continued their excellent work with the Marvel license in 2023's Spider-Man 2. With both Peter and Miles, as well as the introduction of symbiote powers in the former, the studio essentially brought several different Spidey experiences into one, and it was awesome. While some would take issue with the storytelling choices, it is the peak of superhero gameplay. What was already fantastic in the first two entries was perfected here, with traversal that is somehow even more addicting than it was before. Also, we may be friendly neighborhood heroes, but with combat that feels this good, it's hard not to go out of your way to fight literally everyone you can. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Nibelheim. Nibelheim? That's where I grew up.
To the surprise of absolutely no one, Square Enix's second chapter in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy was another banger. It was so good, in fact, that we're showing it some love instead of the admittedly great Final Fantasy XVI. Picking up where the first game left off, Rebirth takes Cloud and company into the wider world beyond Midgard. Open-world exploration was handled extremely well, and not just thanks to how visually impressive the setting is. There's so much to do, and quite a bit of variety to it all. The relationships between the characters were already navigated with great depth in the first game, with the sequel just making us love them more.
Yeah.
And my God, is that soundtrack extraordinary. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart.
Don't you think it's weird to throw a celebration for us? I mean, we haven't done anything heroic in years.
Insomniac has long been a premier developer for Sony's consoles. The studio released one of the best entries in its long-running Ratchet and Clank series with Rift Apart. The wacky, inventive weapons of the franchise are out in full force, and there's no denying how incredible the game looks. But the star of the show is the new Rift Tether mechanic.
To the depths with the arms you got!
This lets the player jump to new areas around them, as well as entirely different worlds, instantaneously. Not only is that an impressive technological feat, but it adds new layers to the already pristine platforming and combat. In terms of pure, unadulterated fun, Rift Apart offers one of the PS5's strongest experiences. God of War Ragnarok.
I need more than that. I need answers. Answers you don't have.
Answers only your mother had.
The 2018 game brought Kratos into a new era to the praise of almost everyone, which means hype was significantly high for the follow-up. Thankfully, Ragnarok was about as strong a sequel as Sony could have made it. Everything about it was appropriately grandiose, fitting given the lead-up to the apocalypse. The new realms were magnificent displays to marvel at, while new gameplay additions, particularly the Dropnir Spear, made us seek out every deadly encounter. The performances, the music, the presentation, it all came together for a phenomenal action-adventure game.
It's beautiful. Thanks, Sindri.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
That's not to mention the free Valhalla DLC, which not only gave us tough combat encounters within a roguelike structure, but further explored Kratos' troubled history in new, heartbreaking ways.
I'm trying! Please!
What's the best game you've played on the PlayStation 5? Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great gaming videos every day.
Here. Take it. This isn't about me, though. It's about saving the world.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.